there is a strange heaviness, a heaviness that follows a human being through life, a heaviness made not of iron or stone, but of memory, of moments we wish we had lived differently, of words we wish we had not spoken, of paths we walked while sleepwalking through our own pain. And before anything else, before philosophy, before wisdom, before healing, I want to say something simple, something soft, something true. You do not deserve to suffer forever. For a moment you regret. Let that line sit. Let it breathe in the quiet space between your breaths. Most people don't understand how forgiveness works. We imagine it as a final chapter, a clean ending, where the broken pieces suddenly fall back into place. But forgiveness has never been about endings. Forgiveness is the opening of a window. After years of sealing the room, years of keeping the air stale, and still, and silent, it is the moment life is allowed to return. And before you forgive the world, before you forgive anyone who has hurt you, you must learn the first and most difficult form of mercy, forgiving yourself. Because self-forgiveness is the moment a human being realizes that being imperfect is not a crime. It is simply a side effect of being alive. You see, we all carry a secret courtroom inside us, a place where we judge ourselves endlessly, sentence ourselves harshly, punish ourselves for things we did when we did not know better, when we were still learning, still hurting, still becoming. And the cruel paradox is this: we punish ourselves in the present for pain we felt in the past, as if reliving it will somehow undo it. But the universe has never asked you to suffer twice. It has only asked you to understand. You are not supposed to be the hero of every chapter of your life. Some chapters were written in confusion, some in fear, some in the dark. Yet here you are, alive, breathing, feeling, still moving forward. Tell me, isn't that enough evidence that you deserve another chance? Self-forgiveness begins with the recognition that who you were is not who you are now. You are not the same person who made those choices. You have lived since then. You have learned. You have grown. Even the cells of your body have changed. Why then must your heart remain imprisoned? The truth is, you are allowed to outgrow your past without needing the world's permission. And when you release yourself from the weight of old guilt, you begin to see something miraculous. Life was always trying to heal you. You were just holding your wounds closed. This is why forgiveness feels terrifying. It means letting the wound open, letting it breathe, allowing yourself to be human. It means accepting the truth that you were never supposed to have all the answers. So sit with this. There is a version of you, younger, confused, hurting, who did the best they could with what little they knew, and you have been punishing them ever since. But forgiveness is the moment you stop hurting the version of you who didn't know better. Forgiveness whispers, "You may come home now. You are safe. You can rest." The world will tell you forgiveness is weakness. But the world is wrong. Forgiveness is strength, because it requires you to walk into your own shame and come out holding your own hand. It requires you to look at your reflection without turning away, to unclench the iron fist of self-punishment and open your palm to possibility. The moment you forgive yourself, life becomes spacious again. Breath becomes deeper. The world looks less like a battlefield and more like a place waiting to be rediscovered. Because forgiveness is freedom. Not freedom granted by others, but freedom reclaimed from yourself. And do not worry. Forgiving yourself will not erase your past. It will simply release its grip on your present. The story remains, but the shame softens. The lesson remains, but the pain stops echoing. And once you begin to forgive yourself, something shifts, naturally, quietly, without effort. You begin to understand the world differently. You begin to see that others, like you, carry their own secrets, their own regrets, their own invisible heaviness. You begin to hear loneliness inside their anger, tenderness inside their silence, a wounded child inside the grown body. And slowly, the world becomes a little more forgivable. But that is part 2. For now, stay here with yourself. Sit with the soft truth of your own humanity. Let this moment be the beginning of liberation from your past. Because forgiveness is not a reward, it is a birthright. It is the soul remembering that it is allowed to begin again. There is a quiet moment, a moment that arrives only after you begin forgiving yourself. When your eyes lift, and you start seeing the world again. Not the world you were taught to fear. Not the world that wounded you, but a world trembling beneath its own pain. A world that hurts you, often because it does not know what else to do. Forgiving the world does not begin with philosophy. It begins with understanding. A soft understanding, a slow breath, a simple recognition. Everyone is carrying something invisible, and sometimes those invisible things collide with you. Sometimes they spill onto you. Sometimes they strike you like storms that have nothing to do with your sky. Pause here. Let that settle. When people act cruel, when they lie, when they abandon you, when they hurt you without thinking, it is not the universe declaring war on you. It is simply a human being lost inside themselves. A person drowning may pull others underwater, not because they want to, but because they do not know how to breathe. So many humans are living in survival mode while pretending they are fine. They are fighting wars you cannot see. They are bleeding from wounds they do not show. They are carrying childhood storms inside adult bodies. Forgiveness begins when you stop taking their storms personally. You see, we imagine the world is cruel, but cruelty is only the language of pain spoken too loudly. People break others because they have never been taught how to hold themselves. Pause. Listen. Feel this truth. No one wakes up wanting to be the villain of their own life. Even those who hurt you were trying to escape their own hurt. Even those who disappointed you were struggling with parts of themselves you were never meant to fix. Forgiveness of the world is not an excuse for its behavior. It is an explanation for its brokenness. It is the moment you stop asking, "Why did they do this to me?" And you begin asking, "What pain inside them made this possible?" That shift, that gentle shift, is liberation. It softens the heart without weakening it. It expands compassion without removing boundaries. It heals you without denying what happened. Because forgiveness is not pretending the wound didn't exist. Forgiveness is refusing to let the wound define your life. The truth is, you cannot change the world by fighting what hurt you. You change the world by refusing to become like it. And the moment you forgive the world, not blindly, not naively, but with clarity, you rise above the story. You stop being the victim of someone else's unhealed pain. You start becoming the creator of your own peace. This is why forgiveness is so powerful. It does not rewrite the past. It rewrites your relationship with the past. It loosens the grip of memories that held you hostage. It releases the claws of resentment curled around your heart. It frees you from the emotional gravity of old experiences. Forgiving the world means saying, I choose not to carry this anymore. Not because the world deserves that gift, but because you deserve your life back. The world, in all its chaos, does not owe you clarity, but you owe yourself freedom. Let me give you a truth most people never realize. People act from their level of consciousness, not yours. Some people live from fear, some from anger, some from insecurity, some from loneliness, some from unresolved wounds passed down from generations before them. When you see this, truly see it. Their behavior makes sense. Not acceptable, but understandable. Understanding is the secret doorway to forgiveness, because once you understand that others are acting out their own stories, their pain stops being your burden. Listen closely now. This is important. Forgiving the world does not mean letting it repeat its harm. It means you protect your peace without poisoning your heart. You walk away without carrying the bitterness with you. You close the door without closing off your own capacity to feel. You release the anger without releasing your self-respect. Forgiveness is not surrender. Forgiveness is sovereignty. It is a reclaiming of emotional territory that was never meant to be occupied by the past. And here's the quiet miracle. Once you forgive the world, even halfway, even imperfectly, you begin to feel a strange lightness in your chest, almost like relief, almost like clarity, almost like breathing after holding your breath for too many years, because resentment is heavy. Forgiveness is release. Resentment is a chain. Forgiveness is the key. Resentment keeps you tied to the past. Forgiveness returns you to the present moment. And the present, this breath, this heartbeat, this second of existence, is the only place where healing actually happens. Forgiving the world is learning to meet life without carrying old battles into new moments. It is seeing humanity in all its brokenness, all its confusion, all its unfinished lessons, and saying, I choose peace, I choose release, I choose to let go, I choose to not let your pain become mine. Pause here. Just breathe. Let the weight fall from your shoulders, even a little, because the world is learning, just like you. The world is healing, just like you. The world is imperfect, just like you. And once you see this, you begin to forgive.